Never know with that Matthew Gajewski sometimes. He'll surprise you. Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, presented by Better. I'm Eric Lindquist. You can follow me at Eric Lindquist. That's easy enough. Over on X, good stuff. As always, hit the like button as you come in the door. We got 2 games to talk through. Obviously, just the one show here today in the evening window. Yeah, we're going to give you all the goods, talk through everything here on this slate, go through a little Sims tool lineup generator work, and do things of that sort and talk our friends better. But first, my dude, he's back from Florida, Matt Belman. Go follow him at Fantasy Tips Matt over on the X. How you doing, my dude?
I'm good, man. Happy New Year to you and your family. I'm probably the only person you'll ever hear happy to be in Cleveland from Florida. I love Florida, but I just love being home too. So back home, back where I'm comfortable. Happy to see you.
You don't have to tell me twice. The holidays sucked, man. I loved seeing my family. I loved going back to South Dakota, but sometimes, stuff happens in life. People pass away at unfortuitous times. And so I ended up having to spend it opposite my wife, which was not the most ideal Christmas I've ever had in my life. But we ended up making it work, got through the holiday season. Everybody's happy, healthy, within the close proximity of us here. And that is what you're asking for. So hopefully everything's fantastic with you, with the fam. You had a great time in Florida. And now you're ready to just grind some massive DFS GPPs that exist here on this 2-game slate. Why can't we get these on like full slates?
DK is drunk. I mean, it just makes no sense. They fill out every slate so early, and then they decide to do like their biggest slate ever on a 2-game slate. Haven't even looked at the contest tomorrow, but I'm sure they're smaller.
Not only that, but like we haven't had a $20 shoot around, I feel like, all year until today. And it's the best structure, best contest you could have. And it's on the 2-game slate where I don't want to play it.
The showdown contest for the late game is like normal contest sizing and contests. Pretty bizarre. Because this is definitely like I don't want to say a tricky slate because they're all tricky in their own way, but I mean, it's a tough one. And that like, there isn't a ton of value. And we've seen that on a lot of slates recently, but at least there's multiple guys to take shots on. Don't really have that tonight.
What is this? Onions minus 150 on the tomatoes are eaten. What are tomatoes being eaten? I don't know. So Tex, hi there, Eric. Nice to see you again, Matt. All good greetings and things there. Do we have any birthday narratives? Yeah. Did you see it was Victor Wembanyama's birthday? I don't really care.
No, I don't care that it's his birthday. I do really like the spot for him. And it's a 2-game slate, so he's definitely in play.
It's a 2-game slate, and this one should have some pace. About that pace, no treble, that's for sure. So we'll talk about it. Ace of Spades, we'll get to the DK tiers here in a second as well, but I want to set the stage. We've got 2 games, Milwaukee, San Antonio, starting up at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, then 10 p.m. Eastern time, Denver, Golden State. I think the major piece of news is the unexpected, fortuitous thing that worked out for Milwaukee. Chris Middleton going to be playing on a back-to-back. He's not on the injury report. I think we all expected him to be sitting, but he's available to play here. I don't expect that news to change between now and lock, and if it does, we'll obviously be carrying it to you. But like, what do you think about Middleton playing on the back-to-back? Because it really screws up a lot of what I was planning on doing today.
Not sure if you saw, but it recently came out, probably like in the past 10 minutes, that he's going to have his minutes watched here.
Yep.
So not sure exactly what that means. Could mean nothing. Could mean something. Who knows? He's priced up. Milwaukee's in the best spot of the night for sure. Really hard to get to him like himself. You look at the trickle-down effect, and it would have been nice to get guys like Beauchamp, Andre Jackson in play, Connaughton. Those guys are still in play. They're just riskier. They're going to come with less ownership now, but they also have a chance to potentially not see the floor. So they're still in play. It just makes them riskier because if they're not in play, like who is in the under 4K range,
Well, like nobody. That's
exactly.
kind of the point. I mean, Kevon Looney, I think, is the guy that I'm going to be playing the most of, which I don't feel good about, but I think there is a very live chance that Trace Jackson Davis, although he is a plus defender over at dunks and threes, and looking at his EPM, his estimated plus minus on the defensive end of the floor, he's been decent there. But he is a 6'9", 235 center going up against Jokic. Just going to throw this out there. Doesn't feel like a good matchup for him.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, no, it doesn't. And then you look at a guy like Jokic. I mean,
Hmm.
really hard to like get to him over Giannis, given the slate, given their recent performance. But Jokic is coming in with a ton of leverage. And it's interesting. He should just carve Trace Jackson Davis, who I like a lot. I feel like we talked about him a couple weeks ago when he was just getting acclimated in the rotation. He's a good fantasy producer. He could be a good fantasy producer tonight if he's able to stay on the floor. Just not sure he will be able to. Not that like Looney is going to shut down Jokic, but you got to put some size on him. So I'm with you. I definitely have interest in Looney, but Looney is not an upside guy like at all. So
No.
if you're playing Looney, you know that like you're hoping for 15 to 20 drafting points. Obviously, hoping
Yeah.
for the 20.
But I mean, Looney's an undersized center as it is too. He's only 6'9", but he has the rebound pedigree, he has the ability where, there's some things that he might be able to do against him. Again, I haven't seen Trace Jackson Davis play as much, that is for sure, especially, he's been in the starting unit for like all of 2 games. So we'll be paying close attention to things like that because that is the disgusting slate that is standing before us. Before we dive into the pricing, just want to throw it out there for you. If you are not using the avatar right now, why don't you just try to? Because, you might get some free stuff if you finish in the top 3 of any tournament over on DraftKings, on FanDuel, anywhere that you might have a tournament of 5,000 plus entries. Finish in the top 3, get yourself access to a free month. Yeah, you heard me, free month of any Sims package of your choosing. May I recommend the Sims Max? Get all of it. Try it out for a full month here, for a full calendar. You could use it at any point during the calendar year here. You get 1 free month at any point when you finish in the top 3 of a GPP, $1 or more, 5,000 entries. Sign up, utilize this logo. So go to stokastic.com/avatar and then tweet your win at StokasticHOF. Get things rolling, my friends, just like we're going to get it rolling right now. You ready to dig in?
Yeah, let's get after it.
All right. The big news that was on the other side of that Milwaukee game, Tre Jones. He said that he's going to be starting tonight, which has just ballooned his ownership to this 80.4% level that we currently have him at Stokastic. Now, he's only at a 16% usage this season, but he's somebody that, when given minutes, he only averages 23.5 this season. We see the steal rate come up over 1. That goes from 0.8 to 1 there. He has an assist rate that sits right around, he's averaging right around 5 here per game in that 23.4. And then, well, you just get more opportunity there for him at 5,100. There is very little value on this slate. So I got to ask you, I know for me, I'm playing a lot more lineups than you will be, but out of like your 3 that you generally build on a slate like this, do you devote 100% of them to Tre Jones? Or is there a way around him, assuming that he is starting?
For me, no. Like there will be times where I'll get away from guys like this in NBA, but usually, and it worked out on like this last night, and I was actually talking to Tommy about this earlier. So last night I only played one lineup. I played it in the 888 and like all the single entry stuff. And I used all the chalky guys, Anunoby, Jalen Johnson, Jared Allen, Alec Burks, those 4 main guys. But then I also used Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Larry Nance, and one other guy that was like really low owned. So I think in NBA, and again, it's not a rule for always, but generally, when you've got like the cheap value, that's not the chalk to get away from. I like getting away from the expensive guys and going to other expensive guys that have similar upside. You don't have this on this slate because it's only 2 games, but there's still other ways to get different outside of fading Tre Jones. I don't hate it because he's projected for 80% ownership, but it's just not what I'm going to do.
Yeah, he's a 0.9 fantasy point per minute player. It's a matchup against Milwaukee that, sure, Spurs could get murdered, but I got to assume he still has a chance to play some type of blowout run. I don't think the Spurs final rotation is just kind of whatever you want it to be. They're getting blown out quite frequently, so it's something you can go back and look at. But Tre Jones, I don't think they're looking at like limiting his minutes where if they're down 15, he wouldn't be in a 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter or something. So if I just put him at a starter's run of 29 minutes, which is what we have projected here at Stokastic, at a 0.95 fantasy point per minute rate, again, you're inflating it because of Milwaukee, because of the pace that they bring. He's just unavoidable chalk for me. I'm going to be playing a ton of him. And then the question just becomes, what other chalk are you actually comfortable with here? And I'm obviously utilizing the Sims tool, as I know a lot of you are over in the chat, but Devin Vassell, Brooke Lopez. A lot of these players from this Spurs-Milwaukee game that seems to be just a little bit more premier. We'll talk Denver Golden State here in a second as well, because Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, they're pulling ownership. But what are you doing with some of these other chalkier pieces from San Antonio, Milwaukee? Because 249 total, you're going to get to things here on a 2-game slate.
The only chalky guy I'm locking in is Tre Jones. Not because I don't like the other chalky guys. Because so many people are gravitating to the mid-tier with that lack of value, I kind of like spending up and taking chances on the value and hoping the studs just score so much more than the mid-tier, which is definitely possible on a day like today. Like, you could get 10 from the cheap guys, but like Giannis, Dame, all the expensive guys absolutely destroy the Vassell's, Keldon Johnson, Jamal Murray's of the world. That's not likely to happen, but it could happen. I think the case for fading Tre Jones is kind of what you asked me a minute ago, is that like this game just sucks and San Antonio can't score. Milwaukee blows them out, but Milwaukee sucks defensively. So like, I don't think that's going to happen here. That's why I like Tre Jones. I really like the idea of going to Wembanyama here. And when you say, chalk, he's not projected for as much ownership as Vassell, but he's still going to be 30% owned here. And I really, really like this spot for him on national TV against Giannis. His ownership is right in line with his leverage or with his optimal percentage. He's like the next highest owned guy I really, really like. And then the other guy I love is Giannis, who surprisingly is not projected for a ton of ownership. I don't think that holds, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, he's so tough to get to on this slate, though, but not as tough to get to in tiers. That's for sure. DK tiers. Didn't forget about you. And got Jordan Klein here, the best producer in the game, named Jordan Klein. Don't think it's remotely close for sure. He's keeping me accountable to everything here. So DK tiers for you, my guy. Happy to talk through this. Thank you for the super chat per usual. But Giannis Antetokounmpo would be going to him in tier 1 here, game environment. Tier 2, exactly what you said. Victor Wembanyama, I kind of like a little bit more than Jamal Murray. We haven't projected at 25 minutes. I think there is a little bit of variability considering it is a national TV game. Maybe they let him play 28 minutes, and he is a 1.51 DraftKings points per minute producer. Kind of like just throwing this entire game together in tiers. Devin Vassell for tier 3, tier 4. It is going to be a little bit more towards Aaron Gordon, although that is somebody that I'm going to be looking to shorten DFS tonight for sure. In tiers, he's still the highest projected. Tier 5, Tre Jones, now that he is starting in tier 6. Blake Wesley, that is a disturbing guy to read off the top. Chetty Osman, I think I would probably be a little bit more inclined to take shots on, or Kevon Looney in the event that maybe we see those minutes go up. So thank you so much for that super chat. But back to what we were talking about. Victor Wembanyama, I do think that, considering the new limitations that they have on his minutes, that feels like something that is kind of a certainty. It makes it almost like too easy to project his minutes. But if this game ends up competitive towards the end and he somehow already hit to 26, 27 minutes, this is the kind of guy that if you could get 28, 30 minutes in a competitive spot, I think you really do want to be taking a look at Victor Wembanyama as somebody to be overweight to on this specific slate. So I like the shout out that you had by him. Out of 3 lineups, how many would you be getting 2 of him?
I think 2. I like being way over the field on him. 1 is like right with the field. That's the thing about playing 3 lineups, though. Like, it is a wow because it's 66%, but it's either 0, 33, 66, or 100. You know what I mean? That's all it is. So can't get away from those numbers. I like the Blake Wesley call in DFS. He's coming in with a lot of leverage here. Here's my thing about Wembanyama. With the limits constraint right now, it's been very hard to get to him on normal slates because there's so many other options like in his price range that are playing normal minutes, like Julius Randle, a guy that's notoriously and continuously in his price range. You don't have that here. Like, you've got Jamal Murray, who's a little bit expensive. I don't think there's anyone else like in the entire 8K range. So at just his median projection of 40, 41 DraftKings points, I don't love that. But like, I don't think that's a killer on this particular slate. But he's got GPP winning upside, as he showed multiple times this season, if he can somehow squeeze a few more minutes tonight on national TV. It's the angle that I like playing. And it really seems like, yeah, you're right. Like, the field is not getting to Giannis because of his price tag, and instead just shuffling to that mid tier and not going to any of the value. Really interesting to me.
Yeah, it is a wild one. Trying to figure out what the blowout script is going to look like. There's spots where Sandro Momukashvili is projected for 18 minutes. We've got him, I think, correctly, more mitigated there, considering he played all of 2 minutes at a competitive spot against Memphis last time around. That was a little bit disturbing and kind of a flip in the force, if you will. They ended up going to more Dominic Barlow. 14 minutes of him. He's now played, what is it? 14, 12, and 14 minutes the last three. So he's getting mixed in without Zach Collins there a little bit more. So definitely somebody to keep an eye on. But Victor Wembanyama from the Spurs side, obviously, don't care that it's his birthday. I care that he's a really good fantasy point per minute producer where maybe those minutes can flip just ever so slightly. But if we're going to talk blowout script, if we're going to talk Milwaukee, San Antonio, this Denver Golden State game, obviously a 4-point spread. We don't have to be as concerned with it, but is there anybody on San Antonio or Milwaukee that you're looking at getting exposure to, even in a limited number of lineups, purely because you could see this thing getting out of hand and get away from some of the chalkier options?
I like Barlow a lot here. Coming in with leverage, he's already getting minutes. He's a guy that will definitely play in a blowout. I mean, it could be Mamu here, but it seems like Barlow's been the guy recently. I'll go with that. I think you could make the case for Mamu also, but I like Barlow in that spot a lot. I think the Blake Wesley call, he's been in the rotation regardless, but if the game gets out of hand, I don't think his minutes are worrisome at all. Champagne, excuse me. He's priced up a little bit, but he also could and should play in a blowout. So don't hate that angle. Like Chetty, I guess. I mean, a couple of these guys won't play if it's a blowout. It depends how big the blowout is. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with what that level is where it's like, oh, yeah, no, completely 25-point blowout. Where are we going? Are we going to get Blake Wesley off the bench for unlimited run? Because that would be something to be paying attention to. He's a 0.91 fantasy point per minute guy over the course of this season, and obviously the blowout run helps to elevate that. Somebody that I'm already throwing into the middle there for sure. So want to be doing that. Well, I got my guy Rinpack dropping me DMs. These are good things to have. This is good information to have. I'm going to have to read through this, though. This is like a novel that he just sent me, so I'll figure this out. But anything else from the Milwaukee side that might be interesting? Because we've focused a lot on the San Antonio side here at the onset of this show, but Brook Lopez pulling 46% ownership. I think that's about appropriate. I'm a little bit short of the field in my 40 lineups that I'm making today. Damian Lillard, coming off of yesterday being disappointing in a game against the Pacers there. 36 minutes, only 39 DraftKings points. I'm happy to fire him up here at a 1.25 fantasy point per minute rate. If we see Chris Middleton's minutes limited, going to be hard for me to land on him at 7,600, but that opens up an opportunity for Dame, for Bobby Portis, and obviously Giannis to just have all of the ability to go nuts here in this spot. But Dame pulling 20% ownership, I think it's at least appealing. Who else from Milwaukee do you want to be getting to?
Dame. I love Dame here.
Yeah.
I love playing Dame with Giannis. I know it's hard. People aren't going to do it. Dame crushes spots like this against shitty teams. San Antonio sucks. I'm confident here that Milwaukee scores a lot. Now, will San Antonio keep up with them? Maybe, maybe not. But either way, I think Lillard and Giannis get there. And if San Antonio does somehow score with them, then, I mean, you're going to absolutely need both of them in my eyes. So I like playing both of them together a lot. I'm not sure which one I like more just because of the price discrepancies. Probably Giannis if I had to choose. Dame's been much more inconsistent, but I like both quite a bit.
Yeah, I like both of them quite a bit here as well. I think Damian Lillard, definitely a piece that at this kind of ownership, I've at least got starred highlights circled because we could see it be really, 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 really low in the event that people are playing the chase spot, it would appear, in some of these other places. But Jamal Murray, he's pulling a ton of the ownership rightfully, which leads us over to the Denver Golden State game that we'll talk about in 2.2 seconds here. But first off, I'm just going to throw it in now. Lineup generator. Why don't we fire up a couple of those here for the friends, just as we're kind of getting everything going. Jordan Klein here on the turntables. He's doing a fantastic job. We're just going to build out a couple of lineups here for the people who are building more than one. Obviously, I want to talk to the specialties of those who don't know. Matt Belman, one of the best high-stakes players there in the DraftKings lobby day in, day out. He plays a more limited number of lineups. If you're building for the 20 max stuff or the 150 max stuff like I am, it's going to behoove you a little bit more to check out the lineup generator and see what we're spitting out here in this lovely sucker, because this is your cheap exposure to see what the Sims tool is going to be preferring. Again, this is coming from the Sims tool, 10,000 lineup iterations, and it's what, $14.95 for the week to try this out. Yeah, I recommend the NFL streets for it, considering we'll have playoff stuff starting up where Saturday, Sunday, Monday coming around. If you get the week of that starting on Sunday, you pretty much get the entire slate of the playoffs, everything except for that Monday night football game. So look forward to that one for sure. But taking a look over at the lineup generator, seeing what it's coming up with. Tre Jones, getting tons of him. But then the thing that just showed up to me was Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. 3 of our top 5 that we're getting exposure to. Part of why I like Dame and part of why I like getting a little bit different with him is I do expect Jokic to get this type of ownership coming in here, and it wouldn't appear that that's showing up in our projections right now. 17.4% ownership going that way. I'm not sure what you make of it, but it makes me kind of think that all things being equal, if it's showing out in the lineup generator here and in the Sims tool, maybe people do get to more Jokic, and might make me a little bit more interested to get to Dame. But how do you feel about these stars, these guys from the starting 5 of the Nuggets pulling this much ownership?
It's interesting to me. My first thought of this slate was that even our projections, have Giannis like 24, Jokic 17. I would be surprised if it wasn't closer to like 30, 15 personally. But maybe with the price tag, now Giannis is at 12K. Like, I get it. That game is not nearly as appealing from a total standpoint, but there are good prices there. So that's why it's getting a lot of ownership. Both sides has good prices.
Yep. Tre Jones, 84% of lineups he's showing up. Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray. And hey, Jokic, getting him in half the lineups when he's 18%, 17% projected ownership, that's never a bad idea on just about any slate. The amount of raw points he can put up is it's ridiculous. And there's obviously blowout risk for Giannis, back-to-back risk, lots of things that I think could not necessarily go against him there because it's a phenomenal matchup, but definitely think that Jokic is an interesting guy to be overweight to. But you can save those lineups, export them immediately directly over into your lineups, and you're set. You have DraftKings, you have FanDuel, everything at your behest over at the lineup generator here at Stokastic for $14.95 for a week. You can sign up at the link below or in that link that Jordan Klein threw into chat because he's awesome at his job. I'm trying to be as good and awesome as Jordan is at his job eventually. Maybe I'll get there in 5 minutes with the nuke of the night. But working through the rest of the Denver Nuggets, my friend, you got Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon. I think that getting to a little bit of them is fine. Obviously, the lineup generator's got them right around the field, 50, 55-ish%. How about KCP? Feels like at 5K, nobody is going to click on him, but he's coming up in 17.1% of lineups. Something tells me people might get to Christian Brown for 4,200 for the savings. Julian Strother, you got to find a way to save money if you want to play some of these studs, but I guess KCP is one of those guys that corner threes, 32 minutes of him, maybe walk into some stocks. He does average 1.4 and 0.5 steals and so spread around 2 stocks per game here. I think that's at least an appealing option for large field tournaments to just get overweight too. But anything else stand out for you from the Denver side?
Not really, to be honest. Like,
that's fair.
The price tags for Denver seem fair, and they're getting ownership because of it. Jokic is expensive and he's not, but it's the same thing we talked about with Giannis. Like, the field is just funneling to the mid-tier. They're not playing the risky value pieces, aside from Chetty, I guess, and they're going with the Sells, Brooke Lopez, Jamal Murray, Keldon Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Kuminga. Like, those are the guys projected for all the ownership, and I get it. That's just not how I'm going to play it.
The ownership you just showed at KCP at 45% owned, Lindy, Sean V. That is not correct. If you were 45% owned, I think he was showing up that much in the lineup generator. So, yeah, we might want to pay attention to that. Or we can invest in some glasses. Those are 2 things for my guy, Sean V. But thank you for checking in on that. Can guarantee you that's not what it says there. KCP not even showing up there over in the lineup generator. Jordan Klein pulling that up here. So I really don't even know what I took a screenshot. I don't care. Go ahead. Tag me on Twitter where I have you blocked. That'll be fun. Good luck to you. I don't know. I don't think I have him blocked. Yeah, it's 45% on FanDuel. You want to talk FanDuel, that's a little bit different. I don't think I want to play KCP at 45% owned over on FanDuel.com. But speaking of FanDuel.com, we'll throw out that A little bit easier to get Giannis Antetokounmpo over there. 55.4% ownership. Dame pulling 45% ownership at 8,600. That game environment getting absolutely roided out over on FanDuel.com. So enjoy that one. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Tre Jones, 75.4% owned over there. So just for the people there, taking a look at some ownership over on FanDuel, enjoy that. But yeah, way to go. You did see that correctly. I apologize to Sean V for the first time. Actually, no, I don't. No, I don't. Let's go over to the Golden State side, where I do think you and I kind of have a couple of the same inferences of things we're trying to do with our lineups that may or may not be showing up the projections. Now, Trace Jackson Davis is 5,700 now. Steve Kerr did say, even though coaches are damn dirty liars, that they're going to stick with the same starting five here for the foreseeable future. Assuming that to be true, which I have no reason to think that it isn't, other than Steve Kerr's a damn dirty liar. I think you're looking at Trace Jackson Davis still playing the lion's share of the center minutes, barring foul trouble and barring getting completely eviscerated, which are two things I don't necessarily trust to have happen. Kevon Looney's also 3,900, but pulling more ownership. It's a weird thing to start with the center spot here at Golden State, but we're trying to save money somewhere. And I, for some reason, feel better about Kevon Looney than it feels like the field does. And I feel better about his opportunity to be out there in a spot where Trace Jackson Davis, if he gets eviscerated early, maybe we do see a flip-flop in the minutes. How about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I know you said earlier that Looney's also only 6'9", but he plays big. Not that Trace Jackson Davis is small, but like Looney is an experienced NBA player that has seen these matchups before. And I'm with you. I think that he's definitely in contention to play a few more minutes tonight. And at 3,900, I think he stands out as a guy you could definitely take shots on if you're looking to spend up, which I am. And I definitely am taking shots on him. I don't like Saric as much, but Saric has much higher upside. Like Looney is not a guy that's going to put up a GPP winning score in limited minutes. You would need him to play, starter's role for him to do that. Saric is a guy that if he somehow played 23 minutes, like at 4,100, you might need him. Now he's not likely to play 21 minutes given, how they've shown recently, but I also like Saric here as like a cheap guy with upside off the bench. So Looney and Saric, two guys I'm getting to a lot of. Wish me luck.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun. I don't mind the Saric shout out, 4,100. I think it just comes down to what you're going to be doing with the chalkiest piece from this team, Jonathan Kuminga. Let's set up why he's 40% owned here on this slate. Number one, he's had back-to-back ridiculously strong games, has been in the starting unit since the middle of December. That completely makes sense. But two, he's coming off a season high in minutes, 34 minutes that we saw from him last time out against Orlando. Matchup-wise, this is a little bit different, though, where, obviously Jonathan Kuminga got it going a little bit early. They ended up extending his minutes, kind of reduced everything down across the board to backups like Dario Saric, who only played 14 minutes in that game. But we have him in for 27 minutes. That's got me thinking that, there's an opportunity to get to some of these other pieces from the Golden State side and just trying to get away from Jonathan Kuminga in a handful of lineups. But how do you plan to utilize 39.2% owned Jonathan Kuminga today?
I get it because the price tag on this slate, like he looks like, probably not the best points per dollar play because of Tre Jones, but like you could make the case that he's on that next level below that. But
yeah,
just not a guy I'm prioritizing. Like I think he looks good, but I like the game environment in the other game much more. And as you mentioned earlier, it's getting a ton of love on FanDuel because the pricing is a little bit softer, not on DraftKings. I like playing spots like that on DraftKings or vice versa when the opposite is true. I think there's some inherent leverage in doing that. Just naturally works out like that tonight for me. And I think you're going to see a lot of the multi-enters, play really heavy the Spurs game on FanDuel and much heavier the Golden State game on DK just because of the pricing. And that makes sense. I don't mind zigging where everyone else zags here. Like I like prioritizing all the good pieces in the Spurs Bucks game. And if I have to cut out a guy like Kuminga, so be it, knowing that, he's a really good value, but we still only have him projected for like 25 DraftKings points, slightly under. Like if he puts up 24.5 DK points, I'm fine not having him, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'm probably fine getting away from this kind of ownership on him. And again, going into the Sims tool, running the contest Sims here, this is just going to be something you should be utilizing in your process. It's a little bit different as you change your payout structure, as you change from high stakes to low stakes. Like I think Kuminga is a piece that I'm happy to get away from to some extent, mainly because, hey, if he puts up 35, yeah, I'm probably in a lot of trouble, but there's a lot of ways that these minutes are more limited based on the 27 minutes projection we have there for him, where I think I can get to Dario Saric and just kind of play with those minutes and see what those different game scripts look like, get to them as salary savers. And, obviously, this is just one of those like very volatile type spots. And that's also where I just can't believe that I'm rostering Andrew Wiggins tonight, but here we are. I think Kuminga playing well affected him the most. He went from playing 26, 28 minutes here as this backup role that he's been set into. He played 21 minutes against Orlando, and I think that we've seen really low ownership on him as a result. Now, the price tag actually went up to $5,200 from $4,900 last slate because, well, DraftKings doesn't want us to have nice things tonight. But Andrew Wiggins, he's showing up in triple the. I've got 30% of him here. Talk me out of it because I would love you to.
I mean, I don't hate it. Like,
okay,
hard to say I love it because it's Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
But when you have a guy like Kuminga coming in with 40% ownership, what's Wiggins at right now? He's only at 12%, like basically the same price. You telling me there's like a 4-to-1 odds, 4-to-1 likelihood that Kuminga outscores Wiggins? I don't think so. Now, DFS isn't like that, but like I love taking shots on a guy like that who's basically the same price tag as Kuminga. So it's not even a play on Wiggins is how I would look at it. It's a play against Kuminga.
To play against Kuminga. Yeah, it's just kind of playing with what those minutes look like. And, as I'm building out, let's see, let me just favorite my top 150 here in the Sims tool to double check what I'm looking at here, because he is just a guy that is not showing up in nearly as many lineups for me. At 27% of lineups in the initial run, I ended up giving him a little bit of an ROI boost down as well. And just getting to Andrew Wiggins, it's a disturbing thing, but trying to find some type of leverage there in that game, that seems to be where I've landed. God help me. I am probably in a lot of trouble. Any Brandon Podziemski there for you? 6,100 coming off the bench. Can close from time to time, although I don't expect it here. I expect Chris Paul to be somebody more times than not who does. But what are we doing with him? Because 6,100 is a pretty penny on this slate.
It is. He hasn't been a guy I've played a ton of, and he's burned me on that Christmas Day slate. I had few really good lineups. I did not have him though, and he was kind of needed.
Yeah.
So that sticks out. Yeah, it was pretty gross. What do you have, like 8,000 steals? He's good though. Like he's productive. So like he's not getting the ownership because of that price tag. I'm not getting to him, but he's another guy like I like a lot. I can't sit here and say that like he's one of my favorite plays on the slate because I'm not playing him. But if I were playing the mid-tier, he would definitely be a guy I'd be getting to because all the other guys in that range are getting ownership. And like he is just as likely to score as well as those other guys, despite being projected a little bit less.
Yeah, I'm with you. It would be a different slate, different time, but yeah, he's not going to crack a lineup for you, right? Is Chris Paul going to crack a lineup for you at 6,400?
When I first looked at this slate, I thought he would, but then I, did my research and I realized that like the expensive guys just weren't getting the ownership I thought they would. So he's another guy. I would like him a lot if I were playing that mid-tier. I feel similarly about him as I do Podziemski. I do like CP3 more. But I'm just not getting there. So I like him as a play. I just like that other game in the studs, a lot more. And I could be in bed early tonight because it's an early type slate. So I'm well aware of that, but it's just kind of the way I'm playing it out. I feel like on these 2-game slates, they're similar to Showdown in that you kind of have to approach them a certain way, like tell yourself a story. Obviously, that matters in terms of whether you're hand building or whether you're, tweaking projections a little bit.
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job, I think, of setting the table here for the people on different ways to go about playing. I have more lineups. You have a couple in play here for sure. It's going to be fun to talk through what our final ownerships are, what our final results here with the Sims are as well. Yeah, we'll do that here in a second. But first, guys, better It is phenomenal stuff. It's a place you want to be checking out here right now. If my camera would turn back on, that's for sure. Can you tell that I ran the Sims tool in the background, Jordan Klein? We got better right now. An amazing deal going with them. Double your first match deposit bonus. Get your first deposit match up to $500 with them right now. You're basically playing regular pick'em like you do at other sites, but it's better for a number of reasons. And I don't just say better because that's the name of it, but because $500 for a first match deposit bonus is a ridiculous amount to get into your account right from the get-go. You also get an opportunity to play up to 8 plays to get 100x payout, better than your standard 25x that you're getting at other pick'em sites. So check out Better, signing up for them at the link below or the link that is in chat there. Telling you right now, it's better to play over at Better as a result. Yeah. I really have nothing else to add other than it's a phenomenal spot. You want to be shopping for your odds no matter where you're playing at, even at the pick'em sites, and Better has some of the best in the entire industry. So check them out for sure. Love having them as the sponsor here of this program. Do us a favor, check them out just because, well, you can make some more money at $500 first match deposit bonus. That is very, very rare in this space. $100 usually. That's usually the most you're finding at these spots. So check them out. Great stuff by them. Let's catch up on some super chats. Darkness X5, $2. You were so patient. Andrew Wiggins or Peyton Watson on FanDuel, my friend?
Let me see pricing real quick.
I like Andrew Wiggins over on for both sites, and God help me.
Wait, or Peyton Watson? I mean, Peyton Watson's probably still priced for Aaron Gordon to be out, so then it's going to be Wiggins.
Yeah, going to be Wiggins for sure. Not remotely close for me. And then Luke Stone, $5 on DK, Giannis and Steph, or Jokic and Willard. What?
Lillard.
I figured it was Lillard, but continue on. Giannis and Steph, or Jokic and Lillard?
I mean, like, I can't. I mean, they're...
You have to. See, now you're taking my approach. That is my approach, where it's like, I can't do this 2v2. I refuse to. You know what? I will do it for them in this spot. Let's go to the Jokic and Lillard side because Steph's somebody that I'm not getting nearly as much of. So thank you for the super chat, even though Matt Belman pulling the role of Eric Lindquist on today's show, not answering questions. There you are. It's okay. It's okay. You're allowed. You're allowed. You do you. Jordan Klein, what is it? Why you give me the eye roll? What did I do? Oh, I don't care. I'm Jordan Klein. I'm just going to... You're just sassy. You're a sassy little bee. I'll tell you about a sassy little bee in chat there. We got Josh. Josh is a fangirl back, which is fun. It's enjoyable. No? All right, let's talk some ownership here as we finish up some things over on our end. Pull up the Sims tool here, Jordan Klein. Very curious to see if it's showing out the same things that my lineups are showing out right now, which is way too much of Devin Vassell, but such is life. Jamal Murray, getting tons of Kevon Looney. That was always going to happen. The one guy that I did ROI boost down quite a bit, Aaron Gordon. That's not going to be somebody who's going to be breaching my lineups nearly as much as what it would appear the field is. Getting to a little bit of Michael Porter Jr., getting under the field on Jonathan Kuminga. Think that our minutes restrictions that we have on there, 27 minutes, going to play into that a little bit. But what do you think about what the Sims tool is spitting out here right now with nearly 100% Tre Jones?
I mean, it makes complete sense to me. Like, he is pretty clearly the top value play on the slate. Like, I think that on a 10-game slate in this spot, he would look really, really good. There's almost more merit in fading him on a slate like this because the ownership will be so high, but I don't know. I think he's the best play on the slate, personally.
So sure is. We got the starting lineup. He is in it. Everything else exactly as you would expect here from that side. Jones, Vassell, Champagny, Sohan, Wembanyama. There we are. Spurs starting 5, exactly as Tre Jones had predicted it to be. Lillard, Beasley, Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez. No surprises there from the Milwaukee side as well. But yeah, pulling up the Sims tool yet again, going to Devin Vassell. Is he cracking your lineups today?
Yeah, I'm playing a little bit of Vassell.
Okay.
He looks good here. Like, if San Antonio keeps this game competitive, then I'm sure that Vassell, Keldon Johnson, all of them look, have a chance to be really good. Because like I said earlier, like, I'm confident Milwaukee scores a bunch here. So it's just a matter of whether San Antonio can keep up with them. If they do, I like all these guys. Sohan, Keldon Johnson, Vassell, Tre Jones especially, but all of them. Wembanyama and Tre Jones are my 2 favorite by far.
Oh man, it's going to be a Wemby night for us, and that's scary because again, I had no idea what to do with any of his props or any of his numbers over at Odd Shopper, which we'll talk about to round out our program for sure. But definitely freaky to try to go into the prop market because everything looks so insanely low for him. But there's definitely some variability what those minutes could be. Maybe they keep him limited. Maybe he just checks himself in like it would appear that is what Rinpack was sending to me earlier was the quote about how Wembanyama checked himself into the game last time around because he was like, nope, I'm finishing this thing out, which I find to be fascinating, but is what it is, friends. I think we got some variability there. Who are the players, though, that as we go position by position, is there anybody that you're just vehemently against here at current ownership?
Vehemently against. No, I mean, I think all the ownership makes sense. Chetty is a guy I'm not getting to. Like I think his ownership has probably ballooned a little bit because of McDermott being out, but I don't know. I like Looney and Sarge more, so I'd rather play those guys. I get it though. A lot of people are playing the expensive guys aside from Jokic in the second game, and they want cheap pieces from the first game. I'm not really doing that. So my Chetty interest is minimal. And my Champagne interest is also minimal just because of the price point.
Yeah, Champagne is pretty interesting at 4,700. Don't really know what I want to do with that, if anything. Yeah, the Victor Wembanyama thing, 8,300 now, getting a little bit of a discount. Please, can we extend his minutes out of the middle of nowhere one time for the kids in the back? Thank you so much. That would be great. Let's see, another super chat. Olrat 14, $2. Beauchamp, because thinking Middleton plays less. I was thinking about that a little bit earlier, but as I started to work through the minutes, even if you keep him limited, like what, 28 minutes? 28 minutes of Chris Middleton. I don't think that's out of the question. We have him projected right now for 28 minutes at Stochastic. I think that's the number. Where do we really find Beauchamp coming into play? Because I can't do it.
I definitely can do it. And he's
Oh, you can. Are you doing it?
I'm doing it. Like I'm doing
please,
it knowing. I mean, it's not even it's kind of like the Wiggins thing. It's not even about Beauchamp himself. It's about
I'm doing it with Connaughton. I'm not doing it with Beauchamp.
I'd rather have Connaughton, but he's $800 more, and that matters on this slate. Connaughton fits that mold too. I can't quite get there. Beauchamp is not good. I mean, wouldn't be surprised if he has 5 drafting points tonight, honestly, but Middleton minutes limit. He's a guy that's in the rotation. If this game does get funky, he'll definitely play late. And it's more for me like I want Dame, I want Giannis, I want Wembanyama. If those guys score high enough, doesn't really matter what Beauchamp does as long as it's not the 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he can get you 12, I'll take it. On this particular slate, like on most others, I wouldn't, but on this one, I will.
Eric looks like he smoked his dinner. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means, but I do know that it's probably time for the nuke of the night here. We're 15 minutes before a lock. Jordan Klein, hit the animation. Go. Slapping the bass, slapping the bass, slapping the bass. And nuke of the night. Matt Belman, you begin. Take Victor Wembanyama off the table. We've talked about him enough. I want to know your number 2 guy other than Victor Wembanyama, because we know he could be the lotion play of the night if we want to call it as such. But Matt Belman, who is your nuke of the night, my friend?
I'm glad you took him off the board because it was a tough choice between him and Damian Lillard. Give me Dame time.
Let's go.
He's going for 60 plus tonight.
You stole mine, but it's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I love you, so you're allowed. My second nuke of the night. Am I really going to say Kevon Looney? No, I'm not. I can't possibly do that to myself. That's not fair. It's not fair. He's a baseball player. Would you prefer the word buzz? You know what movie that's from?
No, but give me something else from the movie. I mean,
it's Nudie Magazine Day. Nudie Magazine Day.
Don't know it.
We're so sorry to interrupt.
Oh, yeah, okay. Those were such bad.
Spanish Armada, 1547. That is correct.
Yeah, I definitely would have gotten that.
All right, everybody. Eric, higher than Giraffe Potas. No, I'm definitely not. I just had to turn on the different camera and the whole thing because I'm just gonna have to buy another laptop is what I'm realizing in my life. Let's do this. Here's your disturbing one. Andrew Wiggins. I get it. He's terrible. He's awful. He's been no good. He's been very, very bad. A losing basketball player, but he's pulling 11.7% ownership and he's projected for around 26 minutes. He played 21 last time around. It is very hard to find one piece of differentiation here on this slate that you are pretty positive is going to stay right around 10, 15% absolutely tops, but could walk into more minutes if he plays well off the bench. And we haven't really seen him play all that well off the bench that much, but when it has happened, it's gone nuclear, if you will. He had 43 fantasy points in 29 minutes against Portland. Against Denver last time out, 29 minutes, 31 fantasy points. He has it in the bag there off the bench, even in 28, 29 minutes. So let's get to the upper range of that one. Andrew Wiggins, the disturbing, disgusting lotion play of the night / nuke of the night. How you like them apples?
I like Looney more, but I definitely like Wiggins more for the nuke of the night because Looney is just not putting up a score that's worthy of nuke of the night. He might be viable at 3,900, but I'm with you. Wiggins has it in him at least.
Yeah, he has it in him. Once upon a time, my former Minnesota Timberwolf that I was sad to see win a title immediately upon leaving our facilities. And now, maybe we got the better end of the deal after all, because we weren't winning a title that year with him. I was kind of. Well, no, I was sad to see him win a title and play like legitimately good defense. That sucked.
Yes. It was weird probably and sucked for you to see the transition he took into becoming like a good NBA player.
The only time I'd ever seen him try on defense was guarding Kobe, like one of his last games. It was an absolute joke, and I just wanted to jump off a building because I was like, Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, I have some nice Cleveland memories of drafting him and trading him for Kevin Love.
That was a fun 10 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah. Cleveland legend.
Drafting him for LeBron to say, yeah, no, we don't want that kid. Send him to Minnesota. It's closer to Canada. He'll be comfortable. I mean, Ohio's closer to Canada. Well, no, Minnesota touches Canada. Does Ohio touch Canada? I think it does.
No, but it's not far. Like if you go through New York, it's not a far drive. A few hours.
Yeah, there's that. Anywho. We got 11 minutes left in our show for friends. Green checkmark, member for 19 months, over under Moses Moody minutes. Thanks, guys. You are so welcome. We're happy to provide that information for you. I have Moses Moody projected for a grand total of 6 minutes. That should be fun.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 to 8, so somewhere in there.
I mean, if he sees the floor, we know that he can do stuff from time to time. He played 13 minutes against Miami and decided to knock down shots, but like, they just really don't ever want to give him minutes.
No, they don't, especially with this new rotation also. So,
yep. Lakers, 5-13. Moody was a healthy scratch the other night. Yes, but I'm saying 2 games ago, he showed up, played 13 minutes, and put up a score that at 3,100, you would kill for on this slate.
Yeah, he's also got it in him if he gets minutes, but he probably won't.
Who's the most disgusting play on the slate that you have exposure to? Is it Beauchamp? It's got to be Beauchamp if you have him in a lineup.
The fact that I have to think about it, I would have had to think about it a few minutes ago, but I just changed out my only Andre Jackson, so it's Beauchamp. I mean,
sorry, Mr. Jackson.
Such a good name.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jackson. I could see it if this game gets out of hand, Middleton minutes restriction, but it would take a lot for him to get there. It'll take a lot for Beauchamp to get there, but slightly less. So I'm sticking with Beauchamp. No Andre Jackson in my life, and he is definitely the ugliest play I'm playing here.
All right, we'll go position by position, talking through our favorite plays here. But before we get out of here, got to throw Odd Chopper into the mix. Obviously doing a lot of work over there on the Odd Chopper YouTube channel. It's really just the most self-explanatory thing ever. We took the Discord, which was $20 a week. Okay, $20 a week. We slashed the price of that and made it $15, but that's not all. You now get the Holy Grail. You get Odd Chopper, Positive EV Tool, the Parlay Builder, the Fantasy Optimizer if you're in a non-legal state. You get all of the tools, the Holy Grail, completely free. Now, when you use promo code Lindy, yes, Lindy, that is me, you get another 20% off of that $15 for your first week. That is a $12 first week to try out Odd Chopper. We got some bets queued up over there for sure. Aaron Gordon under 14.5 points. Anybody love that one? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's for sure. But you want to be signed up over at OddsShopper, getting access to these tools, because if you're in a legal betting state, you have access to all of the sports books in your state directly on the screen. You can shop for the best odds and you can place the best wager there. If you go to the grocery store and you have two identical things sitting in the same aisle, and one is listed for $1.50 and one's listed for $1.25, don't you go to the $1.25 one every single time? I know I do. That's the same thing with sportsbooks. So the OddsShopper tools basically queue that up for you, tell you where minus 125 might exist, so you don't bet minus 150. Get exposure to multiple sportsbooks when you sign up over there as well. But OddsShopper, $12 for a first week, $42 if you decide for the first month there. Check out OddsShopper in the link down below or the link in chat as well. But we're going to go position by position for you, my friends. Point guard. Are we both going to say Dame, our favorite guy, not named Tre Jones?
Yeah, easily for me.
Yep, same here. Shooting guard, Devin Vassell showing up for me.
Vassell's my favorite. Blake Wesley, the guy I'm getting more of.
Oh, daddy. I love your style. Keldon Johnson for me at small forward. Chetty Osman, honorable mention.
Keldon Johnson's my favorite. Beauchamp, the guy I'm getting more of.
Yeah, Keldon Johnson there. Aaron Gordon pulling a lot of ownership. He's up to 43% now in our ownership projections. I'm going to have to hit a little bit of a check there on that and Kuminga. This is where I'm really getting different. Getting to Victor Wembanyama, getting to Michael Porter Jr., getting to Dario Saric. Going to be disgusting, but what are you doing at power forward?
At power forward, it's Giannis for me.
Was Barlow at warmups or what? LOL. Barlow is with the team. He is active. We have him in for how many minutes was Barlow's projection? Because again, that leads us over to center. We have him for 15 minutes there. I think he's a decent contrarian piece at 3,700. I prefer playing him over Mamu based on last couple of games. We've seen Barlow. Last game, you did not see Mamu for grand total of 2 minutes. So there's that. But center, who are you getting to the most?
It's Barlow. It's Barlow and Wemby. So like Giannis, Barlow, and Wemby, I'm getting to all three of those guys a lot.
Get Barlow like an 18-wheeler. Do you like that one?
Man, that came out when I was in college, actually, I remember.
Like a salt
plenty
sugar,
of days.
like salt sugar.
Yeah.
This is what I do without Greg. I get to be myself. Unabashedly be who I am without the constraints, without the weight of the world that I feel doing shows with one Gregory H. Ehrenberg. I don't even know his middle initial. I just made it up.
H sounds right.
It seems like you're Greg H. That seems like him.
Yeah.
Squeak Diesel, $2. Thanks, Eric. Took second and fadeaway FD with 4 exact. See, you made it turn at the end. I didn't like the end of it, but congratulations to you. I like seeing that you finished very, very nice. Greg is a bully. I would 100% agree with it. Shake It Like a Salt Shaker, one of the great songs that I can't wait to hear on oldies radio in 50 years.
I actually, when you first did the first little 3-second snippet, I thought it was a Get Low snippet. Not going to lie. I do now know it was. You missed what I said?
Jordan Klein? What did you just put in onto the people's screens, Jordan Klein?
That is so good. That one is so good.
I'm never going to be able to recover from this.
That's really funny.
How much time did that take you?
However much time it took, it was worth it. However much time it took, it was worth it. Don't let him fool you on that.
Holy mother of God. From the top rope, Jordan Klein comes in. We had a very successful show going game by game, breaking things down from every team, talked through our ownership, talked about it from a small field perspective, from a large field perspective, talked about it through the lens of the Sims tool and the lineup generator. We were about to stick the landing, and you go and pull a stunt like that just because? What? Yeah, cut, paste 2 seconds. We're like 2 seconds, Jetty. I'm with you. Jordan Klein's just a liar. You're a liar. All right. You got your lineups in, yes, Matt Belman?
I do.
Who's most likely to ruin your night tonight, not named Jordan Klein?
I mean, easily. Well, I can't even say Beauchamp because that's Beauchamp is the most likely to ruin me because the five that I talked about that I did would just kill me. He's very likely to have. So it's definitely Beauchamp.
Yeah. For me, most likely would be Christian Braun, 4,200. He's more expensive than some of these 3K guys, but in my single entry stuff, I'm not willing to go too crazy there. I know that he's going to be in the rotation. I know he's going to be not a great fantasy performer. He's 0.86, not terrible, but like I need him to do something that surpasses some of these 3K guys. That's kind of the way that I'm going at this slate. It's just playing the certainty in minutes with him. Hopefully he can do it for me. And then of course Andrew Wiggins in 30% of my lineups. That feels like, I'm only live in 70% of lineups before we even start, considering Wiggins 5,200. What am I doing?
Yeah, I'm going to change my answer because Beauchamp will probably suck, but it won't even matter if like the studs don't absolutely go off. So Beauchamp only kills me if like the other guys are absolutely awful or absolutely insane and he has the chance to kill me. But if the studs don't do their job, like Dame, Giannis, and Wemby, then Beauchamp won't even matter.
I feel like I got body bagged on the way out. Just went 12 rounds with Tyson over there. Jordan Klein. Thank you so much. And he's looking fit too. I was going to compliment him on the way out, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Oh, DK tiers. They want that one more time for the people. I can do that for you. That is for sure. I will revamp that, pulling it back up for you. Tier 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Tier 2, that is going to be Victor Wembanyama. Jamal Murray is not far behind. Devin Vassell for Tier 3. Tier 4, Aaron Gordon. Tier 5, Tre Jones. And Tier 6, Chetty Osman or Kevon Looney. They are basically identical there. Best of luck to us all. Also, don't forget to play a little bit of the ownership game in that Tier 6 because everybody basically sucks in it. And you could get to Reggie Jackson. There's no salary that's constrained there. You have Christian Braun. You have a lot of guys that you could play the ownership with if you have lineups that are struggling, or if you have the absolute stone cold nuts coming off of that first one and you had a later game there, just play Kevon Looney because I think he will play the most important minutes there for that Golden State team. So thank you so much to everybody tuning in. Smash that like button one more time. That would be awesome on the way out. Just show your appreciation for it. NBA so rough. These 2-game slates can be rough, but you know what? They're a lot better with my guy, Matt Belman, over at my side. That is for sure, especially when it's not Greg Ehrenberg making fun of me. But go follow him at Fantasy Tips Matt. Matt, any final words for the people as we get out of here?
No, good luck, everyone.
That was succinct. I'd say thank you to Jordan Klein.
Words. Well, I did have.
You did. Go ahead.
Luck, everyone.
Yeah.
No, my words were good luck, everyone. I should have answered your question. Yes.
Not even going to look at Jordan Klein. Goodbye, everybody. Best of luck. Thank you. Hit the like button. Fuck you, Jordan Klein.